This is a 1926 Chrysler Model 52, and a friend of mine asked if I'd come over and get it running. I was going to film that, but it was pretty simple. We just put gas in it and it fired right up, so that was fine. However, it had no oil pressure. So I brought it over here to my house, and today I'm going to get it going. So let's take a look inside here, see what we got. The previous owner left a whole bunch of notes all over it. Don't leave running, unhook battery cable, shift pattern, brake, and this says pull to shut off, but that's for the choke. I'm not sure why, because this is for the ignition here, this switch. We got the starter down there, pedals, brake pedals straight to the floor. I spent a whole bunch of money on a new master cylinder rebuild, but didn't seem to do much. Seat's in good shape. Actually, this whole car is in good shape. The wood's in good shape. I would say it was probably restored like in the 80s or something. But you can see here, like, they like painted over as a nice brass and stuff. I don't know why anyone would do that. But here, let's see what happens when we hook up the battery. Good thing they told us where the battery is. I would not have been able to find it. No, anyways, let's see how. Yep. Hook that up and the fuel pump starts running. And these aren't supposed to have electric fuel pumps. I don't think they were invented yet. Missing the speedometer, something over there. None of this is hooked up to the timing doodads. This does the timing now, barely. I think this is the, I don't know, maybe the, no, it doesn't do much. Get the amp gauge, oil pressure gauge. Let's take a look under the hood. There she is, old 4-banger flathead. This is all the old timing linkage, it's all missing. This has been converted to 12 volts, which is pretty cool. I'm not sure how well. I think they might have just put a 12 volt battery in it, but spark plugs look original. Like I said, this thing actually runs pretty good. Let's go over here. So this is the fuel pump here, and this is driven off of the vacuum created by the oil pump. And as you heard earlier, it has the electric fuel pump in it now, which means this isn't working. But I think this isn't working because there's no oil pressure. It's kind of a good idea to run the fuel pump off the oil pressure, because then if you have no oil pressure, you're not going to have any fuel. And that's how I think it's supposed to be, but someone just bypassed that and put an electric one in, so it still runs but doesn't have oil pressure. So that's not good. So we got to figure that out. So I think we're going to get in the garage and see what we can do. Okay, I'm going to try to do this without crashing because there's no brakes. And I do have the hand brake, but it's finicky. The thing on there, fuel pump going. It's about 80 degrees out right now. It's October, but geez. Oh man, it's hot out. Get my feet in here. A little taller than people were in 1926. I don't know what that is. Alright, so ignition on. This. Look at that. Fired right up. Oh, never mind. Alright, let's see. Put it here. Oh, we're moving. Loud. Okay, let's see if I can still here. Okay. I don't want to run it because I actually think it might still have a little bit of oil pressure, but let's scoot this in here. Alright, fire it back up. Reverse. Love this big wheel. It's pretty fun. All right, I think we are in the garage. Woo! Went well. Didn't wreck. A+. All right, let's take a look underneath this thing. Yep. See, I'm not even sure, like, what were these even doing? Then we got wires hanging down to this switch here that is supposed to do something. I don't know. Let's see where this goes. Oh, I bet this is for... Turn a light on here. There we go. Let's see where this goes here. Yep, that one. So that goes... Oh, I see. Okay, that makes sense. This is the brake light switch. And that's the brake light back there. We got the handbrake around there. It looks pretty good. This brake line. It's probably older than my father, but that's all right. You can see we got these custom 1920s muffler holders with the space age plastic that doesn't melt. Nope, just kidding. It's broken. Let's see what else. So it's kind of a mess. We got a bungee cord holding the battery in. That'll do. And surprisingly, it doesn't seem to, like, I mean, there's some leaks, but for being 100 years old, it's not that bad. I want to see where this goes. This comes down from that plunger I looked at earlier. Wait a minute, that goes to the brakes. What? All right, that's something I'm going to have to figure out. So that's the master cylinder right there. Okay, so then how do the front brakes, where do those lines come? Go over here. I think all the way back here. Oh, wow. So it comes from the master cylinder all the way back to here, splits into 4. And then these two go to the front. That's wild. Got the fuel line there. That looks pretty new. So here's this electric fuel pump back here. New tank. That's good. Although, take a look at the fuel cap here. We got a pickle jar lid. That's the fuel cap. So that's good. And there's actually 2 for some reason. This one's just a piece of plastic. That'll work. Yeah, so as you can see, this thing is just kind of a mess. I don't know if the bearings feel good. Like, there's no excessive play or anything. Ooh. That one could use a little tightening up. But I mean, look there's no rust on this thing anywhere. It's crazy. Well, it is from California. Apparently it's from California its whole life. But this thing is clean. Brake shoes look good. I think 88 was probably the last time it was on the road. But someone tried to get it running, did all this nonsense to it, and probably been an issue ever since. So let's get to it. I think the first thing I'm going to do... Oh, look at this little suspension for the engine. That's really cool. This little leaf spring. That's neat. But it has oil in it. And apparently there's a oil pressure adjuster in here. So we might have to do that, drain the oil out and get to that. But first I'm going to take apart this oil pump up here. See if I can see anything obvious. So let's get to that. I just noticed on here this Phillips head screw. So someone's been in here before. So I'm hoping it's something real easy that we can get working here. So we have oil pressure, then we can drive this thing. Looks like, I think that I think that electric fuel pump is overpowering the needle and seat in here, would be my guess. Because it's leaking fuel. I also was running with the choke on. I don't know. We'll see. Everything on this car is half inch, which is super nice. Probably get a pan. I don't know if oil will come out of here or not. I also don't even know if this is gonna come off like it should. I have no idea what to expect. I have no clue what I'm doing, by the way. That's not entirely true, but it's sort of true. Yeah, I got it out. So I got the oil pump off. If I turn this, if you listen closely, it's making oil pump noises. So that's a good thing. What I thought about doing is putting a drill on here, with a socket, so I can turn this relatively quickly. See if I can feel it sucking, making any suction. And then as you see, here's a pinched line, so that's not great. I don't know where that's supposed to go. Because this is the suction side, this is the pumping side. So let me get something here real quick. See what size that is. Boom, first guess. 3/4. Oh, that's working. So then why? So that works. That's got a good suction on there. I bet what's happening is this line goes up to the vacuum fuel pump, and that was still hooked up. This line here was. The rest of the fuel pump was not. This, which sucks oil from the motor, was hooked up. But with this spinning, I think it was just, instead of sucking oil up from the motor, it was just sucking in blank air from the fuel pump that doesn't work anymore. So I think what I'm going to do, I might have a cap. See if I can cap this off and then put it back in. I think we might be good to go on the oil pressure side. Because the pump works. You can feel it sucking. So I think that's pretty good. All right, so hopefully my bin of plugs here, I guess I could use a bolt too, but I take this out. Oh, that's in there. All right, I'll take the whole thing out. Let's see what we can figure out here. I can get this off of here. Yeah. The other thing I could do, I could just run a line like this. That would fix both problems. That's an option. Let's see if I have a... Ooh, buddy. Might be in business. Okay, cool. That'll work. Let me see if I got a cleaner one here. All right. Throw a piece of thread tape on that. think we're in business now. So now when the fuel pump's sucking, it's not going to suck here, it's not going to suck here, it's only going to suck up the oil. And I think that'll be the key. There. Not even going to pop this open. I know it works. So let's try our test again here. I think we're going to have good vacuum now. Oh yeah. Seems like we've got good suction. Might want to clamp down on that a little more. This one tube here. Make sure that's sealed. That's not the ideal way to do that, but it is what it is. That's fine, that should work. All right, I think it's time to throw this sucker back in there. I'm not even gonna bust this off because I just know it's gonna destroy that gasket and I don't feel like making another one. There we go. All right, now all I have to do is fire it up and see if this thing makes some oil pressure. I'm thinking it will. I got the battery hooked up. I undisconnected the fuel pump. So I'm going to leave the ignition off and just crank and see if it builds any oil pressure here. Let's cross our fingers. Oh yeah. All right. Awesome. We have fuel. That's great. We have oil pressure. So we can actually drive this thing around now, which is pretty cool. Well, I went ahead and fixed the exhaust. Not perfect, but it's not going to be louder, that's for sure. So I think I'm just going to get some of this random nonsense off of here. Oh, these were the spring for the brake, I guess. That doesn't do anything at all. Yeah, what a mess that is. Feels like there's nothing at all. So we're just going to use the parking brake when we drive this thing around. But should be good to go. So let me show you what was going on here, why we didn't have any oil pressure. So I just noticed, look at this electrical tape holding stuff up. Yeah, it's professional. Anyways, so this thing here is a vacuum fuel pump. So the oil pump down there creates a vacuum, which powers this thing to pump fuel into the carburetor. But I think this has been disconnected. That's why there's that electric pump in the back. But this line was still hooked up down here, and I put that plug in right there. Oh, there it is. But anyways, I think it was just sucking air through this thing instead of sucking oil up. So, in fact, I know it was doing that because I put that plug in, fired it up. We got good oil pressure now. So now I can finally let this thing run, put some coolant in it, dial it in, let everything go, drive it around, see how it goes. So that's what's coming up next. I'm just going to put a dab of grease on here. Keep that from binding up. Alright, I think it's time to take this thing for a rip. Alright, time to take this thing for its first sort of actual drive. I don't know. Touchy. A much heavier spring on this gas pedal. Sweet. Success. This thing runs great. I think we're going to take a look under the hood, see if anything's leaking, and go from there. Alright, let's see under here. Yep, muffler broke off again, which I kind of expected. The flexible pipe never works. Let's see what else. We look under the front here. It's hard to tell what's a fresh leak and what's from other cars, but take a peek under the hood. Alright. Yep. We're leaking coolant. I don't know, it's like this radiator's 100 years old or something. But that's alright. We'll get this thing going. Well, got a lot done today. I got this thing going to the point where I can actually drive it. All because of that little line that went to that old fuel pump. Whoever put that electric fuel pump on there just didn't know what they were doing. It probably hasn't had oil pressure for a while. Luckily, these engines are really robust. The bearings in them are a lot thicker than modern cars. So because they're made for way worse oil than we have today. So probably why it survived. But that's about it for today's video. Maybe the next one we'll be working on this thing again or something else. We'll have to see.